Yeah, check yourself before you wreck yourself. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a wonderful another YouTube episode. I have started a cookbook series on my other social media channels. If you want to go and follow along, go and follow along. But what I want to do is I want to continue the theme and I want to cook a dish. We're going to make some pasta and we're going to do calzones. The premise of this whole series is basically I've been doing a lot of recipe development for the last 5-6 years, and I always remember at one point in my career I was sitting there and I was going, oh mate, I'm so bored of cooking, I'm just doing the same thing, revolving the same sort of sides and just switching bits in and out. So then I was like, you know what I should do? I should just cook a random dish from a random recipe and maybe you'll learn something. And you know what? It reignited my career, you know, relight my fire. If any of the English fans are out there, I'm sorry about that. But what it allowed me to do is go, oh, I haven't seen that technique in a while. Oh, I've never used that ingredient. I've never prepared that way. I've never had this flavour in my mouth before. All of these amazing things that kind of get reignited just from looking at a recipe. So we're gonna cook this one. Calzones. Semolina and 00. Now, I went to a Jamie Oliver event the other week and he was talking about how beautiful pasta is and where all the influence comes from and all the different types of pasta and shapes and all that kind of stuff. And how you can create something so quickly from just flour and water. And I thought the way he presented it was really bloody lovely. I loved the man and it made me happy. The filling is like a ricotta with egg, spring onions, parsley. It should have a bit of mint, but I haven't got that. But the nice thing is, it's got some smoked ricotta in there. The sauce is butter, and then it's topped with the smoked ricotta. If you haven't got a smoked ingredient, you can create something, you can take something from your pantry that may give it that influence. But I always take a step back and kind of go, what is that smoked piece doing in the dish? Is it fundamental? Maybe yes, maybe no. If you don't like smoked things, can you leave it out? Yeah. But I have got some smoked oil. So we're gonna recreate something here. In terms of ingredients, or in terms of flavors, should I say, it's a very, very simple one to kind of understand. Like, because some classic Italian dishes are so simple. There's not the play on sweet and sour and all of this kind of stuff. It's just well-seasoned rub. So ricotta is like, you know, quite light and creamy, obviously. That'll need a bit of egg, add a bit of richness, and then it will have a bit of salt to kind of lift all the flavors. And then it's just, as I said, got the spring onions and parsley for it, which is just that element of yum yums. I don't know if it's gonna be nice. I presume it's gonna be nice. Well, let's just make it. Here we go. 125, 125, 160. It's easy to remember, isn't it? 125, 125. 160. Let's get you going here, baby cakes. And ladies and gentlemen, while you're here, on my Substack, which is my little newsletter, I'm trying to get it going. I'm going to be deep diving once again into all of the recipes that I'm doing on my other channels. So if you see them pop up as shorts, give them a bit of love, and then learn something in the newsletter. 125. Wait, mix with, oh, that's a perfect handful. Let's have a look, just in case there's any Italians that are gonna have a pop at me for doing this wrong. Bloody hell, man. Blah, 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 sift. Haven't done that. That looks quite sticky, doesn't it? Did I measure it right? Well, the good thing about this is because it's just ratio based in terms of like the flour and the semolina are the same amounts. Surely if you put a handful in and a handful in, it's the same amount, isn't it? There's probably lots of Italians going, ah, you haven't lived, you probably eaten it before, and sprinkle my dinkle. So this is the thing with cooking that I always like to talk about as well, is you learn textures or feels of things, and then it kind of allows you to be a bit more free in the kitchen. Like, if you don't understand what pasta dough should feel like to start off with, then you're never gonna know what this is meant to feel like. So that's why I always like to register things like, you know, looking at this pasta dough now, I've always known when making dough that it should have like a little bounce to it. You shouldn't push it in, it should collapse, it should hold its shape. Registering those things, and especially with flavour and taste and all of that, just understanding what things change dishes, subtle changes, then you're in a good place. I think you can always cook blindly and then never really learn anything. But if you really want to become a better cook or a better chef, then you got to go, oh, I'm not just tasting that sauce because I have to taste it. I'm tasting that sauce because I want to understand what's going on and what's happened. Yeah, go on, go, yeah. Why is everyone slap ingredients? Such a weird thing, isn't it? I think it's like a trend at the minute. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna pop that in the bowl, clean you down, we're gonna make the filling, and then we'll be able to pin that out. Put you over it, yeah, there we go, lovely. Let me go grab all the bits and we'll be back. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Oh. Tell you what, when you have a new knife and you haven't used it before, I was just about to talk about it, and I was gonna say exactly the thing, and then I cut myself. I get the Get this, I asked this question a lot about using knives. What I always say is go in to the shop, if you can, and have a go on the knife and hold it and feel it and see how it works for you. Because the contours or the way that you hold a knife is so different to other things. And this one, because I haven't used it a lot, it's kind of got this like scoop here. So naturally I went to go and pick it up like that. It just stabbed into my finger. Right, so it's got minced spring onions. So it's a good way of prepping spring onions actually. So you can kind of split it all down into like eighths or whatever, so you don't have to keep running through it, so you're not bashing it. And then I did a whole knife tutorial on how to keep your knife sharp and how to chop, so just run it over. Rock chop, rock chop, rock chop, rock chop. It goes into a bowl. I've got some parsley here. It did say Italian parsley. Don't know what's the difference, just grown in Italy, I suppose. One yolk. Down the hatch. Oh God, it's always such a hard swallow. Right, it says 125. This is a 250 pot, so there we go. Now this is a simple one, a very, very simple one for you to do. Now it says salt and pepper. Obviously we're gonna put salt and pepper in, but what I want you to do is I want you to really take a step back and just taste things. So understand what ricotta tastes like on its own, but then have a little taste of this now, and then add a little pinch of salt, have another taste, bit more salt, have another taste, put a bit of pepper in there, have a little taste. Put a little bit of salt in, have a little taste. Yeah, needs more salt. And this is how you improve in cooking, by understanding the subtle changes in the dish. Take more. You can start to taste it, because ricotta ends up sort of tasting, well, a bit more cheesy. It's not so subtle. Taste, taste. Such an important lesson. Don't eat all the filling though. A bit of pepper. Remember, pepper is a spice. So as I said, this dish is quite a summery, light dish. So the pepper that you're gonna put in is gonna be quite overpowering or quite a punchy flavor, because it's got all it's balancing up against is spring onions, some parsley and some ricotta. Just a subtle bit at the back of your throat. Go, last one I reckon. Lovely. This is basically it, this is the filling done. We're now going to roll out the pasta, so we're going to have a bit of a reset, recover my finger, we'll be back. Right, now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're using a pasta machine like this, I know for a fact 250 Gs of this will go absolutely badly through this. Absolutely badly? Very badly through this. So split it in half. Around 100 grams is probably a decent amount to go through this small one. This model is an Amazonian Basics, cost me about 20 quid. Still going strong, he says. So give it a dust in. Now when you dust it, don't just leave it in lumps, give it a little rub in. But I'm gonna give this another quick knead, because if you pull this, it's gonna snap. Start fudging it through. Go on mate, get through there. Yeah baby. And then just fold it over a couple of times and then get it back through. There we go, baby. What we'll start to see is we'll start to get really nice and smooth. Okay, so look, when your dough starts to be nice and silky, give it a dusting of flour. Now you need to rub it in. Flip it. Make sure it's not sticky, because you don't want it to stick going through the rollers. Now, as you can see, quite a bit of flour on here. Tap it off. And then on a pasta machine, if you haven't seen me do this before, if you haven't seen one before, it's basically 2 rollers, and they slowly get closer and closer and closer, making it go thinner and thinner and thinner. Get it through. If you've got enough flour on there, like a dusting, it shouldn't clump together at the bottom. God, I've just had a coffee and I feel absolutely fantastic. So I'm not going to take it all the way to the finish setting, because I want to have a bit of oomph on the old pasta, you know what I'm saying? I reckon that's pretty good. I think what they say is you're just about to see your hand through it. I don't know if that camera picks it up. Just about to see your hand through it. So obviously this is a massive sheet of pasta, which is absolutely stupid. So cut it into manageable pieces. We're going to do these in circles. Okay, so this is a 7.5 centimetre cutter. So just do your best. You know me and waste. I'm just going to chop all these other bits and eat them. So let's just do a couple, because it's going to be so boring watching me suffer through making these. Now the interesting thing in this recipe is it says 1 scant teaspoon, so that's a scant teaspoon. Always like whenever making raviolis or anything, never like overfill them, because it just becomes a pain in the arse and they explode. But it does say, blah, 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 fold each stick to over half a moon, enclosing the filling and gently but firmly crimp together. Do you not need any lube on that? I would have thought you need a little bit of like water just to hold it together. Or is it just gonna stick? Firmly crimp together. Okay, that's what you say. I always have been taught to go over into the middle, so you know that it's kind of like engulfed, and then work your way out one way, boom, bomb, 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 bomb. Then you can kind of push a bit of the air out. Then all you're gonna do is work across the top and just slowly pinch, 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 pinch. There we go. Air bubbles in pasta are not your friend. Simple, these ones are easy. I just cut out the rest of them. Now, there are so many different types of pasta and you could probably go and find a tutorial. This ain't gonna be it on how to make different shapes, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is if you just kind of be a little bit playful. Does it matter what shape it is? Nah, bro. Do exactly like we did last time. Crimp, 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 crimp. Then all you're gonna do, this one, I don't even know what this one is. You can just fold it over. What happens when you pinch it there? Oh, we've got a shape. What's that? Leave in the comments. And then because I've already cut them into circles, put a little blob in the middle, find a ring that fits over it. Go on, mate. Stick you down like that. Put you on there like that. Give you a little wobble. Give you a little press. Ooh. What's that? Don't even know what that is. Just have some fun. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I've got a pan of water over here. Now, you know what they always say about make it taste like the sea? I don't know. You just got to think that is not going to be in there long enough to absorb all of that saltiness, but I think it's got to obviously taste of something. So give it a shimmy. Remember I was talking about salt? That's kosher salt. You know, I know how much I'm going to sprinkle in there to probably make that. It's going to be boiling water, but let's go for it. A little bit more. And then what I got over here is I've just got a pan with some butter in there. Now, this is smoked oil. So as I said, remember I'm gonna get that smoky element from this part instead of the old, whatchamacallit, ricotta cheese. Not gonna get any color on it. I'm just gonna gently melt. I just want it to be soft. Pasta's going in. It's literally gonna take 30 seconds. Oh, if that. And fingers crossed that butter will be melted. I should have melted the butter first. Come on, mate. Oh. Okay, then always sort of remind yourself that pasta is going to be done. It's going to take no time at all. The filling doesn't need to be cooked, it just needs to be hot through. So it's had about a minute. Now, is your butter salted? I don't know, have a taste. Not salted. So you can add a little sprinkle of that into there. That oil is so good. Little smoky hits. And then your pasta can come out. Now, if you're doing it ahead of time, what you can do is do this stage, and then you can put it into to cold water, and then you can just reheat them. Reheat them. But to be honest, that's only if you're doing massive volumes of pasta, because if you're gonna be doing these to order, they'll be straight fresh out of the packet. So look at that, she looks lovely. So I'm gonna go quite a lot of, the buttery goodness. Does that look anything like the picture? It's not too bad. It probably doesn't need all of that butter, but to be honest, I don't care. We're gonna taste one, and then we're gonna see what it needs. So when you cook in restaurants, the reason that you develop dishes or you practice dishes is because you will know how much sauce, that's too much sauce. Oh my God, they're delicious. The reason that you practice dishes is so you know how much butter you want to put in a dish. You know what it will need afterwards. You're not blindly seasoning it going, oh, I hope that's going to be good for the table. So those little subtle finishing salts and all of that kind of stuff, it's all pre-planned. These, they almost taste like fish, like smoked fish. Doesn't need it. A little bit of Parmesan, a little bit more fresh pepper. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Sometimes simple dishes are just so good. Fresh, simple, easy, doesn't need anything else. Does it need lemon juice? No, I don't know. Maybe a little twist might be all right, a little bit of acidity to kind of like lift the freshness, but it just doesn't need anything. Oh, it's so good. So easy. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, making fresh pasta is such a laugh. What is that? Is that eggshell? Cool, I'll eat it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to go and like and subscribe. Jump on my newsletter, get involved there. Come and watch the other series on my social media. Just have a wonderful time. Yum, I love food. So should you.